Discipline matters. When life breaks your heart, beloved, look to Jesus. Discipline is what determines your destiny, not your desire. Discipline. See, so many of us have these dreams, have these goals, have these ideas, which are great. But the thing that will turn that goal, that dream into a reality is your discipline. Discipline is the willingness and intention to consistently learn, develop, and display the characteristics and attributes required as you work toward and attain your stated goal. Sure, you know as well as I know, lots of people, many people who have these great and lofty ideas, who have these unique dreams and potential within inside of them. They're dreamers though, and not doers. So many of them get caught up in the dreaming, if you will, that they never get around to the actual doing. And before you know it, they've spent 5, 10, 15 years doing this and never getting around to the doing. Discipline is what so many of us need to cultivate. And I know that's difficult, or it can be difficult, especially in our current context, especially in our current culture, where we have the culture of social media, the culture of Instagram, the culture of Facebook, where everything I like to call sometimes social media avatar land, because I'm like, wait a minute, these people, the trading, hear me well. I'm not saying you put all of your business on Front Street. No, I do think that there should be discretion. But what I am saying is that in this social media world that we're living in, where everything can be so cultivated and contrived and put together, we're just giving each other sometimes snapshots of what it looks like. We give and present to each other and to the larger world a snapshot. Often, the snapshot is what it looks like after everything has been put together, after everything we've laid the foundation to get to the end of the road. See, so many of us in our country, we love a good overcoming story. We love it. At the heart of our American culture, so to speak, one of our core values is survival. We come out on top. We are phoenixes. We rise above the ashes. We rise out on top. We come out on top. But what about those in-between moments where it's less glamorous, where we don't have the photo light up, where we don't have all the money in place as we're putting together our dreams, where we don't have on the perfect beat or the perfect filter on our photos, on our Instagram snaps? It's those in-between moments, that discipline. That's what I want us to focus on. The willingness to consistently, intentionally, to learn, develop, and display those characteristics and attributes that are required to work toward and to attain our stated goals. Discipline is what will keep you in those in-between moments. Discipline is not just about when we're working towards something or our stated goal and it feels good. Sometimes it's easy to show up and to do things when you're feeling good. But let's talk about when the obstacles come, when it gets hard, when you get tired, when the money gets low, when the relationship gets rocky, when one incident after another, one unexpected after another keeps popping up in your health, in your children's health, in your finances, When that job didn't go the way you thought it was going to go. When that savings, every time it seems like you getting it built up to a certain point, here comes something else. Discipline, the willingness to keep going, to stay the course when it gets hard, when you get tired, when it seems like the road ahead of you is just too long and windy, when it seems like literally I take 2 steps forward and 20 steps back. Discipline, beloved, discipline. The willing to keep going on that road, to keep starting, no matter how many times it feels like, oh, I have to deal with a stop or a pause along the way. Discipline. And within that discipline, the willingness to learn and to develop on purpose consistently what it takes to move toward that stated goal. I want to talk about humility and surrender. Are you teachable? So many of us have a hard time dealing with ourselves and have a difficult time confronting ugly truths about ourselves as it relates to, it's so easy to always point the finger at other people. He did this, they did that. He ain't no good. Why they keep doing this to me? I don't understand why I keep coming across these same relationships, these same no good men. Well, beloved, you are the common denominator here. If none of these men know each other and these last 4, 5, 6, 7 relationships are all the same, maybe it's time to take a hard, honest, and truthful look in the mirror. What is it about me that continues to show up the same? What is it about me that I'm not getting? What is it about me that perhaps I'm refusing to correct and be honest about with myself about? The humility, beloved, the humility, the willingness to be humble, the willingness to be honest with yourself and say, you know what? Sometimes I'm not all that, but that's okay. That's not taking anything from your sense of self. That's actually pouring into yourself to say, you know what, self? I got a lot of stuff with me at times, but I'm going to work on it because I know that some of these things, it's not just it is what it is. It's not just I am who I am. No, beloved, sometimes you're stubborn. Sometimes you're arrogant. Sometimes you think you know everything. Sometimes you think can't nobody tell you nothing. Sometimes it's about you just want to do things your own way, no matter what. And those are the things that need to be addressed as it relates to discipline. Your humility, your willingness to get out of your own way. Some of us are in our own way. Some of us are our own stumbling blocks. Some of us can be our own worst enemies. Hear what we tell ourselves. Not saying necessarily that there aren't certain things about yourself that aren't just part of your characteristic, that aren't just part of your personality. It can be a bit loud, but it's not always a time and place to be loud. I'm a bit lively. They say sometimes I have a bit of a flair for the dramatic. I don't know about all that. But maybe I do. But what I'm getting at, beloved, is that sometimes it's not always the time and the place for me to be loud. Sometimes it's time for me to shut up, be a little more quiet. Sometimes it's time for me to show up a little bit differently, depending on what the situation or circumstance is. That's what I'm talking about, beloved, as it relates to sometimes you and I can get in our own way. Sometimes it's this. Sometimes you and I, come on, ladies, come on. Sometimes we got too much this sometimes, even with each other. It's not always about having a quick comeback. It's not always about trying to feel like, okay, she checked me. Now I'm going to really show her what a check is about. No. Sometimes it's about our learning how to be humble, our learning how to let go of our ego and our pride. Sometimes that lack of humility and that arrogance, sometimes that gets in the way of our doing the things, recognizing the things that need to be done and consistently doing those things that move us forward toward our stated goal and desires. And see, along the way, you guys, within all of this, as it relates to that discipline, it's about the process. The process not only comes to move you toward your stated end or goal, but the process comes to change you along the way as you move towards your stated goal, your stated desire. Discipline. Discipline is what matters. Discipline. Do you show up when it's not only easy, but do you show up when the obstacles come? Consistently willing to learn, develop, and show up when it gets hard. Discipline. If somebody points out something within you that makes you feel a little uncomfortable, but are you willing to be honest with yourself in humility and surrender? Discipline. Are you willing to lay down your ego and your pride so that those things will not continue or present to be a stumbling block for you along the way? Discipline. The process is about how you show up as you move toward your stated goal or end as well. Take care.